Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Locked In with Lola. This week, be alert, this week we have something slightly different for you. We have a mukbang, because one of my greatest friends of all time, the goat of them all, Ella Williams, is a professional chef. Everyone at uni thinks, oh my god, yeah, I'm a really good cook. Like, I made a linguine, but this girl is an actual cook. She's worked at some of the finest establishments in London, all while doing a film degree at UAL. So she's the most impressive person I know. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, Ella Williams, the most impressive person I know.
Yeah, okay. So Ella Williams here, speaking live and direct. About me. Oh gosh, Lola. Okay, so yeah, my name's Ella. Known Lola since we were 11. Started cooking. Well, I've always been greedy. My mum said she knew that I was going to have an interesting relationship with food from 5 months old, when my dad stupidly gave me a tiny piece of chocolate and I looked like I had just had crack for the first time. And so that was that. So she knew before I did that I was going to have a very special relationship with food. And then, I've just always been greedy. Come from, should I say, a family of chefs. My uncle and aunt, one of 6 on my dad's side. So a lot of aunts and uncles who are chefs. It's just kind of in the family. Grew up around really good food in gastropubs, and then got my big break, if you will, doing work experience at Park Lane Hotel when I was 15, and then worked in a Moroccan restaurant when I was 16, and it just kind of went from there. And now I work for Angela Hartnett, who's a very talented woman, at her restaurant in Bermondsey called Cafe Murano, which is Italian food, and that's kind of what I've literally brought to the table today. So we have some focaccia, which I didn't make, though I do like making bread, but I can't be bothered, to be quite frank. I came off two double shifts in a row. I CBA to make focaccia. But this is very good focaccia from Borough Market. I don't think it's from Bread Ahead. Bread Ahead? You know, that bread place in Borough Market, the famous one.
Well, I love Borough Market for one, because of the different selection of food, and we were kind of talking about that as well, with the kind of balsamics and that they have there. I get a fig one from there. Well, my mother.
The one that has the rose one.
So it's so interesting to basically be friends with someone who's a professional cook, as I've said. And I think cook is even, you're a chef. There is a difference. It's so lovely to be friends with someone who's so motivated as well, and who loves something just as much as you do, because I love eating. And as Ella knows, the perfect friendship with Ella loves cooking, and we also love eating food together. So can you tell everyone what you actually did make today? Because, it'd be lovely to know.
Okay, so what I did make in my lovely Le Creuset Pestle and Mortar, I couldn't be bothered to decant, so I just kept it in there. It's quite nice, actually, I'm not going to lie. £12.99 from TK Maxx, RRP £36, just saying. Queen of bargains. So we have some, very true, I am their top treasure seeker. Here we have some fig balsamic and olive oil, kind of not vinaigrette, but really just ting, I guess, with a bit of mould and salt. And then here we have some buffalo mozzarella, homemade pesto, just a classic basil pesto, pine nuts, toasted pine nuts, raw garlic crushed, olive oil, bit of Malden. What else? That's it. Olive oil. Olive oil. And then, just finished it with some Malden, bit more olive oil. Then for Lola, I got really excited when I went to Tesco not Tesco, what am I saying? I don't like Tesco. When I went to Lidl this morning, the love of my life, Lidl, they have San Marzano tomatoes in Lidl, which, if anyone doesn't know, is literally the best tomatoes in the world, in my opinion. But I didn't really get it because it said British San Marzanos. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But, so we got some, again, buffalo mozzarella. Lola's got a bit of ground black pepper on it just for some pizzazz. Then got so I marinated that for about an hour and a bit. And then Lola just added some pesto. And I put some pine nuts in that as well, just for added texture, because it's all a bit soft without the pine nuts. That's what we're eating. That's what we're eating for our primi. And I guess we're having a pasta as a main, which isn't really authentic anyway. Yeah. And yeah, I'll pass back to the interviewer.
So yes, I know you're all at home extremely jealous, but I'm just going to say the food is incredible. I want to ask you about why you decided to work at Cafe Murano, because you did work at the Avenue before and you've worked at many places, I would say, in the last few years, kind of just finding your forte, finding what actually benefits you and where you can learn from as well. What's the difference between working at somewhere like the Avenue, and what you did there, and somewhere like Cafe Murano? And not do you prefer a place? Can't say that. But do you? No, I'm good, thank you, mate. But do you look and think when you're working somewhere, I could learn at this place, or I can just get by at this place?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a few questions that I don't know. I don't move restaurants every 5 seconds, just to let you guys know. But yeah, no. I started in Tagine, and that was, I think, really set the tone for my career. Working in a restaurant that was so different to the food that I guess I eat at home or even know about a lot. Because I've been to Morocco before. Tagine was a Moroccan restaurant, as you can probably tell from the name. Moroccan restaurant, and it was just like, yeah, it's a funny restaurant as well, because as soon as you step 1 foot in there, like, everything is from Morocco. Everything's imported from Morocco or Algeria. Yeah, the furniture. Yeah, it's like a mini culture shock going in there, because it's so different. Like, considering it's on, like, just off Banham High Street. Highly recommend it, by the way. The food's amazing. But yeah, and I think that being, you know, it was so different. Yeah, exactly. That exposure and understanding more about the world and culture really was, like, amazing, and learning that through my favorite thing, like through the medium of food. I think the more I cook and the more I learn about food, whether I'm reading about it, I've bought so many cookery books and so many food science, you know, gastronomy books at the moment, just learning about how intersectional it is. I think that's what I love about it, and like working at all these restaurants, you learn more about that. And like moving from Tagine to then 33 in Clapham, and then to Avenue, and then where I am now.
And going just more central as well, as you slowly did that.
Yeah, that's not even a conscious thing really, because to be honest, a lot of food in central London is shit. So it's like chains that have a lot of money, and you can just feel you can like feel the, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, you can feel the lack of authenticity, I guess. You can feel the capitalism, which is not exactly fun. R.I.P. Karl Marx, but yeah. And yeah, no, I think as well, like working in different restaurants, and the thing I love about cooking and working in all these different places is the people as well. Like, it's really like, these restaurants are really a microcosm of London, and for London is to me, you know, my London, because I know it's very different if you're, you know, another kind of person who's not me, I guess, but for me it is.
If you're not me.
No. I mean like, you know, for some people they have a very sheltered upbringing, even if they live in London, you know.
Which is surprising.
Yeah, exactly. But luckily that wasn't, you know, my upbringing. It isn't my life now. And no, it's just amazing working with different people. Not learning just like when they teach you and mentor you, and like just learning about other people's cultures and their backgrounds and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of the change and what you said for what it does for me, I guess it's not so much as, well, it's like what I was reading the other day. Marco P.R. White said. He said, chefs, you know, on my apron doesn't have my name on it because we're all commies, we're all learning. And if you don't know, commies like the lowest level in the kitchen. So, and I really like thought, yeah, we're always learning, whether it's in food or you're learning about yourself or other people, just the world around you. It's a constant thing, you know. And yeah, so I guess moving into all these different places is always learning. It's always not like, what can it do for me, in a sense that I'm going to go there and I'm amazing. What can you do for me? Like, I don't say that in interviews, you know what I mean? Because that I'm like an arsehole. But no, I guess it's for real, like for me, my stomach there. It sounds a bit, doesn't sound very intellectual, but it's true. Like, it's the vibe, I guess, of a restaurant. Like, what was it when I went for my trial at Cafe Murano? I remember walking up there and I could hear 90s hip hop music like blazing out of the place, and I thought, oh, this is not what I thought it was gonna be like, and that really put me at ease. And then I got in there and everyone was lovely, and the person who was playing the 90s hip hop music, Patrick, it's like kind of becomes taking me under his wing and is like mentoring me, and he's amazing. And yeah, it's just like that vibe, and it's funny. It's a very relaxed environment, but it has very high standards at the same time. And it's I feel like a very respectful place. It's an open kitchen, so no one can scream at you even if they wanted to, which I appreciate because, you know, no one's ever screamed at me before because I don't make mistakes like that much, or that big, should I say. But no, it's just nice to work in an environment.
Respectful environment.
Yeah, or it's even really, I feel like this is the first time I've really, really worked in a kitchen where everyone loves food and everyone loves what they're doing. Yeah, like really, really loves it and respects it. And I feel like that's something I've learned with Italian food is you don't manipulate the food too much. You give the food credit, you give the ingredients credit and make something beautiful out of it. No, do you know what I mean? Because like you're not creating gels, you're not blending stuff and chinoiring it to create caviar or some crap. No shade to people who do that. But like it's more, no, not even authentic, because I guess that's authenticity is a word that is I have very hard time understanding. I have no idea. I don't even know if it exists. I think it's just being true to who you are and what your intentions are, and being true to your intentions and carrying that through, and just not being a walking contradiction, I guess. But like that's what I mean with like some restaurants that, oh yeah, we're whatever, but it's like, no, you're not really authentic, or like you don't even have an identity in the first place to be inauthentic. Do you know what I mean?
So my favourite food is Italian food, and Chinese actually. Yeah. And I've been wanting to go to the cafe that Ella's working at for such a long time.
Not a cafe, though.
No, it's not, exactly.
No, even Sarah's like, why is it Cafe Murano? It doesn't do it justice.
No, it really doesn't. But you know, you've worked at a Moroccan place, you've worked at an Italian place, you've worked at a quite European restaurant like the Avenue, British European, exactly, seasonal, exactly, and does this, you know, from working at different places, do you ever think that when you have a place of your own, maybe when you're older, that you'll combine it? Yeah, we're manifesting here, that you're going to combine these different kind of experiences and food techniques that you've learned from different cultures, or are you passionate about just kind of one set kind of food? Thank you.
So a very good question, I must say. I think, no, like another chef who I really love called Kristen Kish. She's brilliant. I was watching an interview that she gave the other day, and she was saying how good food tastes good, right? But great food, like you can taste the story in it. And she has a restaurant called Arlo Gray in Austin in Texas. And she was talking about how she wanted everything to be perfect, right? She's a perfectionist, as most like good chefs are, or great chefs, should I say. And she was looking at all this beautiful artwork, and she's like, this is just, it's nice, but like it doesn't speak to the restaurant, it doesn't speak to its feeling and its vibe and its authenticity, whatever that means. Exactly, yeah, like its ethos. And she randomly was like, I actually know what I want to do, and she got her old recipe book. She flew back to Boston, where she's from, in a day, packed a crap ton of sorry, I just said crap really loud into the mic. I literally like lipsed it for a sec. She like took loads of recipes of her old recipe books and stuff, and she like collaged it and framed it in these really nice frames. And yeah, so what I'm saying, I'm digressing a bit, but yeah, storytelling and stories, and yeah, and I've all these experiences and stories that I've got. I can make a TV show out of it, for which are something like we talk about later. But no, yeah, I mean, I created a menu. What was it, like on Monday? And I'm gonna call my future restaurant, I think I'm gonna call it Ode, because everything I make is consciously or subconsciously like an ode to someone or something I love or have loved, or like I'm inspired by. So yeah, i.e. Lola. So Exhibit A. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a fusion of my life, I guess. Not just like in restaurants, but the food I grew up eating, gastropubs, my dad's food, my mum's food, my sister's baking, you know, stuff like that. Because even though like I'm a self-taught chef, you've been influenced. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, you can't not, there's no such thing as like originality, do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's controversial to some, but I don't care, that's my opinion, innit? But but yeah, so yeah, definitely be like a fusion of just good food, just the flavours that I think are nice. Like I've even got one dish which I really think represents me, because I feel like in another life I was an Italian Lola, like I was fully an Italian grandma, do you know what I mean? And there's one dish on there that's gonna be a jerk chicken tortelli, with allspice butter and like sage and thyme. And I think that's like, I'm half Jamaican as well. So it's so it's like it's like food. It being like because for me, food is an extension of my soul and my brain, and it's also it's and it's also like my love language. Like a lot of chefs say that, you know, I'm not gonna cook for you if I don't rate you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Lola's getting a 3-course meal, which I think says it all. So yeah, passing back to you. A great friend.
Thank you, my dear. Basically become very good friends with the chef when you're aged. Well, when you're age 11, get to know this girl that you think is quite cool. Might not think you're cool back. And then when you hit year 10 and you're a little bit more, you know, normal. No. You know yourself more. Yeah, you know yourself more, and you're more self-assured, but in the correct ways of being self-assured. Yeah, definitely need to try that. Then become besties with the chef. So yeah, great answer to that. Loved the insight that you think you're an Italian grandma, but I completely agree. Even like the amount of tote bags that like Ella collects, I just think like it's the whole vibe. I mean, look at her; she's wearing like a lovely little bandana. I know. So I want to kind of talk a bit more about your film degree now, because you're a professional chef alongside doing a full degree, which is extremely, extremely intense. And I mean, don't know how you do it, don't know how you fit the time in, but she does. And therefore, I kind of want to know about that first, just like what it's like doing a film degree in London, staying in London after school. You know, most people go outside. Not outside. Most people leave their house. Most people go to like no one goes to. Most people go to like Bristol or something. They go to uni outside of London. And so why did you choose to stay? Why did you choose to do a film degree alongside working full time?
Yeah, another great question. I mean, I stayed for like a lot of reasons. I stayed because of the uni, like UAL, the Central St Martin's, BLCC, which is where I am. London College of Fashion. It's all of those colleges that makes up UAL, and it's like second in the world for arts, and I know it's good, right? $1.99 TK Maxx. It's seriously good. You can take some in a little. You have fig balsamic at home. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's really good. But no, I stayed for my course, for my degree. I went there for an open day, and I was like, yeah, this is again the vibe. I was like, yeah, this matches me as a person as much as it can be, I guess. Really liked it, and it was like the best decision I ever made. Absolutely loved my course. Got really good amazing lecturers who are so like different in who they are. So then what they bring, you know, their perspective is also very different, which is great. Like Ash is born and bred in India, for a bit, and then he moved here, so his first language isn't English. And then Ed, who's gay, and then other lecturers who are queer and women. You know, it's just like a great body of diversity. Yeah, and it makes you way less peripheral. And that's reflected as well in the student body. Like they all really love film, and it's just again the same with food. Like just being around people who love something the way you do is a really beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why it was really crap sometimes working with chefs who just didn't do stuff properly, and I'd just be like I remember once these chefs moved from like the sister restaurant to my restaurant, and they were doing brunch, and when you cut ham for a Benedict, right, it's got to be thin, and he cut this ham, and the bottom of the ham was 3 centimeters deep. How big that is? Like 2 centimeters, and the top was like 0.5 millimeters. Imagine that, like a triangle of ham. And I was thinking, I remember opened it, I actually wanted to dash it at its head, because I thought, and of course he was the most arrogant one in the kitchen, the shit one always is, but I was like, this guy is actually having a joke. Is he actually having a bubble? It's ridiculous. So it's still this gets me. I think about sometimes I actually get angry, the fact that he actually thinks he's sick. But anyway, story for another day, even though I've already gone into it. But no, yeah. So yeah, I stayed in London because I love the uni. Stayed in London as well because I love my family. They're like my best friends, my sister especially. So I'm about to tear up. I'm about to choke on my own saliva, which is very attractive. No, yeah, and as you know, we're in my house now. You can't really see it, but it's my parents. They're both like from working class backgrounds. My mom's first Jamaican, like first generation like Jamaican, grew up on a council estate, it's done really well. Like she's just like quite an amazing woman, and just to have that, they're just both like, especially my mum, they always keep me grounded. Not that I ever think that I think I'm hot shit, but they're always here. And well, actually you as well, like I feel like everyone around me just is just honest, which is really just what more do you need, you know? Fair and honest, that's all you really want in people, decent people. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I feel like, not to speak on behalf of other people, but some people, you know, leave uni to get freedom and stuff, but my parents have always been, they're quite juxtaposing parents actually. Well, they're very similar, but like my dad was a bit of a wild child when he was younger. My mum's never even smoked a cigarette. I'm the same as her, but I think having that difference of parents as well, knowing that you can explore drugs, you can explore this and that, and they wouldn't like rip your head off for it is nice, you know, because they understand what it means to like make good people. Yeah, and just they understand that all people are different. I think having a dad who's a chef as well, working with so many different people, and a mum who's a teacher, and having gone through so many different students and knowing so many different examples of realizing that kids aren't how they are because of how they are, they're how they are because of their parents. Like even, what was it, I was reading the other day, this like child therapist was saying all these parents come in with their damaged children and they don't realize that they're the ones who've damaged them. Do you know what I mean? It's like some crazy cycles of abuse which I'm lucky I didn't experience. Like I really am fortunate for that. But yeah, and then I stayed as well because being a chef, like why, and same for food, all the opportunities are in London. Why would I move to any place do you know what I mean, to like cook up some crap? Like it makes no sense. And I mean, look where I feel like I've really hit the jackpot where I am now, like Cafe Murano, in terms of the people, the food, the vibe, everything. And just also like even having clientele, like because where I worked before was an open kitchen in Clapham, and I'm not gonna lie, it's just like white middle class people every single day, and it was just boring. They asked for the same things. Yeah, but it's just nice working for like difference, even if it was like all anything, one kind of person, it just wouldn't. It's nice like seeing food bring so many different kinds of people together, which it didn't at 33. It was all the same kind of people. So yeah, it's just nice seeing people, different kinds of people. Like you go in there and they're all strangers, but you know that then one thing they have in common there is that they all love food, or they all love Italian food. I think that's quite cool. Like same when you go cinema as well, but yeah.
I think Italian food does that to people because it's so universal, like pasta, pizza, everyone loves that. So I think that's like something very special about Italian food. That was the starter conversation. So we're going to take a little break, not for you, but for Ella to prepare the main. And we'll be back. But yeah, thank you so much, Ella, for this amazing starter and for giving us an insight into cooking. We're going to go more into what Ella does for her film degree next. So see you like in a second. So everyone, you might be wondering where the almighty Ella is. She is here about to chef up the main, which is yeah, you can, which is a beautiful carbonara, but calling it just a carbonara I think is a disservice to what it truly is. It is, Ella, what is it?
It is a white truffle and chive carbonara with pancetta, not guanciale.
Wow. I mean, I'm impressed and I cannot wait to eat this. Simply too lucky I am. Thank you, my dear. Amazing. And you've also given us some amazing parmesan. So I'll wait for Ella to sit down till we talk about the next thing, which is kind of carrying on from film and the degree that she does. But I kind of want to know about what exactly do you actually do in that degree. Yeah, that's perfect. What exactly do you do in that degree? And I also want to kind of know, you know, how do you want to combine these two passions? But we'll wait for Ella to, sit down. Yes, she's had a little hair change. So why do you do this film degree? What do you enjoy about it?
So what I enjoy about it is I think it's the same. It's very like, people always say, oh, you do film as well as you cook. Oh, that's very different. And I'm like, no, it's actually really similar. Because, in terms of the industry structure as well, it's very similar in terms of commie, runner, director, head chef, all that kind of stuff. But on a more philosophical level, it's about... Lola, making me laugh. Is it good? On a philosophical... Oh, that's really gassed me, you know. Okay, I've made a speechless. That is like the rarest thing ever. Okay, so yeah, on a philosophical level, it's like it needs a bit of time actually. Anyway, yeah, on a philosophical level, it's two things which I feel like really, I say food more than film, but really heightens your senses and can really be an escape and something that evokes memory. You know, because when you like, people say a lot with smells, like a certain smell of a food reminds me of something, like the smell of McDonald's, like good quality McDonald's, not from some crap McDonald's franchise. Good McDonald's chips and nuggets reminds me of my childhood. Burger King fries, childhood. Yeah, stuff like that. And like even films like Princess Diaries, because sometimes it's not the actual film itself, it's the memory of the first time you watch that film. So I think, yeah, why I chose film is because it's another thing. Like I think I'm all about feeling and feelings. I'm a very sensitive person.
You feel a lot.
Yeah, and very empathetic. I'd like to think anyway. Yeah. So I'm about to cry because I've got black pepper in my eye, but
it's a part of the feel.
Yeah,
guys.
and no, I fully have actually, and hay fever. I did not take my antihistamine very well. Should have kept my sunglasses on. But yeah, no, feeling and yeah, and it's just fun. It's interesting, and you can, and again, like food, you can learn so much about the world through the medium of film. Same as food, and I think that's all about what my life is just educating myself all the time, keeping myself in check. And yeah, and that film does that. It's a great. Well, they do say that, you know, Truffaut and all those people say that it's like the dream space and whatever. And I think, yeah, food is like a dream space as well, but film in a more literal sense of like going into the cinema. You only can focus on that, which I think in this world as well, like you're so overstimulated all the time. Like going to the cinema is such a like privileged thing to do. Same as being a chef. Like I don't even think enough people think about being a chef as like being a privilege, but in order to be a chef and to train, you have to have constant access to food, constant access to water, to clean water, to gas, to stuff like that all the time. And especially to be a self-taught chef as well, like to have that in my house all the time. I wouldn't be a chef if I didn't have that stuff, do you know what I mean? So both of those things are like a real privilege, which they shouldn't be, but they are, sadly. But yeah.
I think you just made a very, very good point about privilege, and when it comes to food and film and stuff like that, to be able to go to uni to do a film degree for one, privilege. To be able to be like a good cook by the age of 16, privilege. What do you think? This is kind of not really about your film degree, but just because we're talking about privilege, what do you think of the whole, you know, government thing where, you know, they wouldn't feed the children? What do you think about things like that? And do you think that cafes and restaurants in London or across the UK should be doing more for that and making their food more accessible to people who really need it? Or do you think, you know, if you can afford it, you can afford it. If you can't, you can't.
Yeah, that's a very good question. A bit hard to phrase. I don't know. Yeah, well, definitely I think the government's crap. I think my capitalist, anti-capitalist little thing the other day, not the other day, a bit earlier, says it all. But yeah, I think Boris Johnson's a balding bumperclot, and yeah, that pretty much says it all. He is. I mean, yeah, he's got a receding hairline, and he's a bumperclot. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's sticky because especially like the reason why the kids couldn't eat was because of COVID, and it's like the stress it's had on like the hospitality industry. Like we shouldn't have to ask restaurants to do more. The government should just not be shit. But yeah, I think restaurants did do really well, and like food banks and people really like they really showed out. Not the government. Exactly. Marcus Rashford should be the Prime Minister. Yeah, exactly. Christina, amazing. A really amazing person. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I interviewed her. I was supposed to still haven't done it. I still haven't finished editing it. I haven't even started because I had COVID and then everything just kind of. So yeah, sorry about that, Christina. No, yeah, she's amazing. I hope she's the Prime Minister one day because she's a real one.
So I want to move on from that because that was a bit of a sidetrack, and I kind of want to talk to you about more about the film degree, but how you're going to combine that with your career as a professional chef. I have some ideas because, you know, Mummy and you have sat down and talked about this and how you really enjoy sensory experiences. But tell us of your dream kind of show of your food and maybe even a film you would create, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, so another brilliant question from the amazing Lola Schroeder. But No, yeah. I have so many ideas and I write them down all the time. From my notes page to my actual notebook. Well, to combine, I'm already kind of doing it now at uni. So for our end of year thing, we have to create a film festival. It's because my film course isn't film as in practical, it's curatorial. So I've chosen an amazing film by the amazing Isaac Julian, called Young Soul Rebels. And it's like about Black British, Caribbean, young gay teenagers navigating like themselves through Britain in like then being parts of these different subcultures and stuff like punks and rusters, rude boys, whatever. So I'm doing like food packages with it for like the people in London. There's gonna be like Caribbean snacks, patties, ting, sorrel, even though I think that drink's dotty, but oh well. And yeah, but like for my dreams, I want a TV show. Like the amount of mad stuff that I've witnessed in the kitchen, I need my own. Anthony Bourdain had Kitchen Confidential. I need to have my Kitchen Confidential. Yeah, and I'll call it Service. That's what I think I'm gonna call it. And I've already got it. Like the ideas. Like I know what the intro's gonna be.
The guest to try the food.
No, like a sitcom. Like a sitcom. Like not a sitcom, but like a TV show, not a fictionalized. Like semi-autobiographical. Okay, so yeah. And an open kitchen so the customers can also be crazy in it as well. And then you can have like famous guests as the customers.
Well, we just need to find your production company.
Yeah. And yeah, so I want the intro, like the titles to be like, so basically in restaurants a lot of the time when you have like a metal surface or tiles, people write recipes on it. And I want it to be just like one hand or like multiple hands that kind of move the camera along, but instead of writing the recipes down on the thing, it says like created by or starring, featuring, stuff like that. And it's all like fluid and like, the flow of the kitchen. Plus I've watched so many like I've watched like so many films and TV shows that are set in the kitchen, and they're like very rarely do they execute what it is like. I'm not gonna lie, I was rewatching Ratatouille like the other day and I thought, right, actually does a good job, you know. Like, it's actually really good. It's one of my favourite films ever. And it's such a good film. Always makes me want to go to Paris and eat. Not even ratatouille because I don't really like vegetables like that, but yeah, good food, yeah. So I also want a restaurant and a cinema that will have like a curated menu to the. I want a lot of stuff. I want and I think the more you want, even if they don't all come true, like the likelihood of one happening is more likely. Do you get me? So yeah, but I also want like just a creative space, like my own box park, but not a box park, like a small box park, but not box park.
A creative studio for you to do.
No, because I want to give other people a platform to do. No, because I want to own it, but I want to give people. I wouldn't want it to be just like. No, I don't want it to be just. Like set. I want it to be like rental space so that more people get an opportunity, and it's like an ever-changing thing. Who? Yeah, but I want it to be for food, for film, a dance studio. I want to do cookery classes in there. Yeah, the bashment. Yeah, great. The reggaeton people, everything. And yeah, just somewhere to give people a space just to feel safe, and like anyone's accepted. That's not a bigot, basically. I'll call it anti-bigot society. No, but yeah.
I love that. One thing that you did tell Mum and me when we went to a lovely Italian restaurant in Covent Garden, what was it called again?
It's called Prima Sapori d'Italia. Yeah. Highly recommend the bolognese ragu. It's amazing. Seriously good. And the chef really just, actually, so we're talking about ratatouille. It's weird. Recently, I've really been feeling flushed away. Like the vibe of flushed away because of the World Cup. Not because of the World Cup, the Euros. Flushed away. The film with the rats that live underground. Flushed away. And at half time, remember, all the floodgates open and the rats drown. That's what's going to happen. And that's all I could think about during the Euros was that, oh my gosh, the rats are going to drown. And I thought it was just me. No. I thought it was just me, yeah. And I saw someone else post the same thing. And I thought, yeah, it's not just me. Other people think the same way. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, recently I've been feeling ratatouille. Just that vibe. I can sense it. I don't know if that makes any sense. But the energy of that film. And basically the head chef of Prima Sapori, it's an open kitchen, looks like an Italian version of Gusteau from Ratatouille. You have to see him. He's really big. And he just looks so friendly. And he makes the best Italian food. I'm too like, oh my gosh. I'm too whipped. I can't.
In case you didn't know, she's also a comedian. No, I'm joking. I love that. Love that for you. Love that you're in a world of Ratatouille. I think all that Ella needs now is a pet rat, but as long as they're cartoons, she's in for it. Anyway, so what I wanted to say is when we were at that restaurant with my mum, we were sitting there and you said to her that like a dream of yours would be have a film that you create and then a menu that you create based on that film, and then have it like as a, not like a drive-through, but like you eat before the meal and you have food that's kind of like based on what's happening in the film or the culture of like whatever you're exploring in the film message, and then they go in and watch the film, or you can even eat during the film and all that. And I was just wondering, is that still something that you're interested in, or have you kind of thought more, even bigger from that, and are you kind of thinking like, I just want to take this as far as I can go?
I don't know. I forgot I even said that, you know. I've got too many ideas that I can't keep track. But no, that's my idea. I've got
crazy.
What's her name? Not Demi Lovato, Debbie Ryan, that's it. Anyway, yeah. she's iconic. I should really get a cover for that pasta. I'll get it in a sec. But what was the question? Oh yeah. So yeah, no. That's like, I feel like for my life I have loads of different avenues that I think it could go down. And that's just like one if I move to LA and do food there, because that's like an LA idea. It's not a London idea because the weather's crap. Yeah, I do want to move to New Orleans, you know, for a year after uni, because it's vibes. Plus, there's this restaurant I saw on Chef's Table that I really want to go there. So anyway,
go there and then work there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the history there is like it's amazing because the food is so good, and it's so sad considering where it came from, like its roots of slavery. And yeah, that's why it really, just, we're gonna sidetrack here, but really just to say, all the racists out there and the racist chefs, yeah, it really pees me off when they make fun of like Caribbean and black cultures like eating well cooked meat, because I'm like, they didn't understand. Because I remember like one chef I worked with at the restaurant before here, he said it and I said, yeah, well you know why though, like because of slavery. And he was like, but try not to look like, he was like, oh yeah. And I was thinking, no, you don't know, you clearly ignorant.
Explain that a bit more.
So basically during slavery, obviously black people were treated like they weren't treated like humans, subhumans. So they got all the work, like the offcuts of the meat, the crap pieces of meat, like oxtail, yeah, and it was dirty, it was unhygienic, because obviously the white people didn't care about them. So they cooked it a lot, really, really heavily, and like would like use lemon and stuff like acidic things to take away the bacteria, and that's the roots of why a lot of like black cultures, it's just like West African or American cultures, cook chicken, yeah. And I'm sorry, but really well cooked, like people, and it's such a colonial thing as well, because like I love how people like, no one like swearing that much, but shit on that. But then duck confit's okay, and you cook duck confit like fucking hours. It's ridiculous. So like if some white European guy does it, it's fine, but a black person does it with a different cut of meat, it's, oh, what are you doing?
Well, thank you for educating me, for one, because I didn't know that.
You know, it's another thing that people forget, that racism has levels. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just calling someone the N-word, and not calling someone the N-word means that you are or are not racist. Like, I don't think people get that. And it is sadly ingrained in everything because of where it came from, like in Spain and whatever, when they were debating about whether it was started with Native American people, so it didn't even start off with black people, and then it just kind of spread to anyone who wasn't white. But no, yeah, it's a sad reality. But I mean, of course, black people are amazing, and from that you get, you know, Creole food, you get that amazing, you know, southern, northern American food, which is incredible. And I think that, you know, that food, you know, it really speaks to the resilience of the people of that time, and the food is so amazing that it's just carried on and it's progressed into this world that we live in now. Yeah, and I think that's another thing about food, is that it's history, it's geography, it's you know, it's just a reflection of society. When I don't think people think about food enough, like in that way. No. But I think it's quite amazing. I mean, there's nothing like food, you know. It's the only thing that is a necessity that you would die without, and is also such a privilege at the same time somehow. Wow. And you can learn so much from it. Do you know? And people can say, "Oh no, well, I think this is more important," and I'll be like, "Okay, you think that's more important? Don't eat for 2 years, yeah, and come back and tell me the same thing. Oh no, you can't because you're dead, yeah. Do you know what I mean?" And like including water, because like drinks and food I put together, because you know you pair wine with whatever and stuff like that.
So we're going to stop here, and Ella's going to prepare the final meal, which is the dessert, which I'm extremely excited for. But thank you so much for talking to us about film. And I'm very excited for part 3. You guys don't have to wait any time for part 3. I do, real time waiting. But yeah, thank you for this incredible pasta meal. For someone, everyone knows me, I'm a massive pasta fan, so for someone like me, this has been a complete privilege. Thank you, my friend. And I will also in my Instagram say what you've cooked and everything like that, in case anyone wants to know, and they can also message you perhaps to find out how to make it and stuff like that, if she wants to let you know. But yeah, thank you so much, and you guys will see us in a second. I am back. Ella is back. And we are here to talk about this dessert and fashion that she's made. So Ella has made me a tiramisu, which, I'll insert the picture right now. And, I have no words apart. Dave. We already made that joke. I have no words, literally. And I am grateful beyond means. I know you want to eat this. So should we each have should we have a little tuck in?
So, this is a tiramisu I made. Didn't have masala at Lidl, so I got sherry, but any fortified wine is kind of good for tiramisu. And then it's just a mascarpone, 3 egg yolks, a lot of caster sugar because I've got a sweet tooth, and a lot of vanilla essence. Go heavy with vanilla essence because vanilla is peng.
Yeah, do you have any cooking tips for us?
In what way? For like home cooking and stuff.
Use more salt than you think?
No. People say this all the time, and it really mugs me off. People say, "Oh, it's always more salt than you think." Don't do that, because you can add salt, but you can't take away the salt. So always under season. And there's weird tips, like if you put too much salt, put a potato in it, and the potato just absorbs the salt. Or add lemon zest to counteract it. It's like acids and alkalines, kind of like that. So if it's too salty, add pepper. If it's too salty, add lemon juice. Something sharp. It's like salt, fat, acid, heat. If you got too much of one, add the other. Balance it out, or depending on what you want the dish to be, because sometimes you might want it to be a bit more spicy, or you just want there to be an element of spice. Do you get me? Or you want to taste that particular one. Exactly. But yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for telling us about this incredible tiramisu that you have made. She's having her first bite. It's so good. It's so good. This section is actually all about fashion. Ella's really into fashion, but I think she came into her own towards sixth form, which was around the same time that Ella felt like that she came into her identity, I think, as a person, and kind of understood who she was and what she was about, basically. And I remember, there's some interesting own clothes day clothes in like year 8 and year 9 from Ella. But same over here. But in year 12, this girl walked in looking great. You really did.
Not year 13.
And year 13. But I'm talking about the progress of your clothing. Yes, thank you. And so, can you talk to us about why you enjoy fashion, why you love going shopping, why you love doing fashion? Yeah, who doesn't? Why you love like a good fashion find, and why we spend so much time eating and going to look at shops together. So yes.
This is gonna sound really boring, because it's literally like, why do you love food, why do you love fashion, why do you love film? It's the vibes. It's the same thing, but all of it, I think, it's an expression of identity, and it's all about like semiotics, what things represent, especially with clothes. Like that's the number one thing of like I don't know, you wear a rainbow flag, people know you're gay, you want undercut, gay, all that stuff. But it's true. Like, well, not for undercuts necessarily, but it's an indication to an extent. But yeah, I think it says, like, it speaks to who you are. Other things, like even like clothes in terms of religion, wearing a hijab speaks a lot about your way of life and who you are, which I think is a really beautiful thing. Yeah, and it's fun. I think you can have fun with it, and you can have fun with food, you can have fun with fashion. And I don't like taking life too seriously, do you know what I mean? Like, even though I am really passionate about these things, like, I'm still chill with it at the same time. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, do you get me? And yeah, it's fun. And I like clothes because they look nice.
Just like cooking and film, do you think it's an extension of you?
Yeah, an extension of me, but like, I don't want to say like, oh yeah, I love all of these things because it's an extension of me, because that's really narcissistic and that's not actually the truth. Like, I think it's just another extension of people in the world. Like, your clothes that you put out speaks about you. It speaks stuff to yourself and to your experiences. And then me wearing that, it's just me like okaying that. Do you get me? Even though there's some things that I wear that I probably shouldn't, like Nike, but yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and preach about, you know, the whole politics of fashion and fast fashion when I wear stuff like that, because it's hypocritical. But you know, I those are my sins. Then I think I make up for them in other ways by using certain deodorants or whatever, and try and wear it out in bigger ways as well. Not just like my deodorant, but yeah, exactly. Which is one thing with cooking as well, which is like a really big one. Like, whenever we have waste here at home, goes into the compost bin. We use it to fertilize the herb plants. Like, we got sage, thyme, sorrel, bay leaves, you name it, we have it. Apples? There. Oh, right, I thought you were saying, oh, do you have apples? Yeah. Pears over there. What else do we have? Carrots. We got broccoli, curry powder. That's stupid. Curry growing, broccoli. Did I already say broccoli? Basically, we've got a lot of stuff. And it's like just like a cycle, like a little mini world system, I guess. In, like, ecosystem. But yeah.
No, it's completely fine. I think even if we try and talk about anything else, we'll go back to food, which is completely fine. And that's how most of my conversations go. Just ask Ollie. I want to know what your favourite fashion brand is, and also if you can run us through what your outfit is today. And
my outfit today is crap. It's actually homeware.
But part of your outfit's pretty cool.
Part of it?
But all of it? I am keeping that in. Do you see how she treats me? No. Can you just tell us about what more? Yeah, part of it. Can you tell us about your favourite shops and what you're wearing?
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I'd say I think one of my favourite brands, it's gonna sound like such a basic answer, but I don't even care. Supreme, which I'm wearing at the moment. No, because it started, it's about the journey. It started as a skate brand for like New York kids, young skaters, and it's just evolved into this huge thing. And like, people say, oh, you're a poser if you wear Supreme and you don't skate. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not just a skate brand anymore. Like, do you not understand? It's more than that now. It's like being a skate brand is less. It's like when you're collabing with Louis Vuitton, you're not a skate brand. Wearing Louis Vuitton's not going to help you skateboard. Do you know what I mean? Like, having the monogram on your skateboard is not going to help you ollie in 360 hospital, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to do that. So yeah, I think probably that. And then it is a brand and it is a shop, which is why I love it, because I love things that are intersectional. They're not just like one thing. Though I do love like the pureness of like just one thing at the same time. But size, because when size has collabs with all these different companies, and they hold
find like some shoes that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Exactly, they have like a really interesting, like, it's like properly curated shoes. Like the shoe, they put time into it, and you can see the effort and the vibes as well. The vibes in there are immaculate. All the people, especially Carnaby Street in Brixton, because Brixton's our outlet. Everything's on sale basically, and Carnaby Street is lovely. I go in there like once a week. I spend so much money in there. They probably think, what, do you not have anything else to do? Honestly, not really. But it's true. But yeah, and they have like, what do you call it? Music events as well. Like, they had Joy Crooks there doing performances, stuff like that, and they have artists come in and do the artwork for like because it's a flagship. Yeah, it just incorporates a lot of stuff.
Very good at doing that as well.
Yeah.
For me, like, Trapstar doesn't do enough clothes that I'm interested in buying, but they do really cool collaborations. I think they're doing one with Dave at the moment.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's interesting, but I do feel like at the same time, as I said, I like things that are intersectional and collaboration. Like, people just gone a bit collaboration mad recently, like Vespa and Sean Wotherspoon I loved, but like other things I'm like, it's not necessary. Like, you don't need to collab that, because all you're just collabing it is so that you can get, it's just some capitalist BS. So you collab it so people have seen collaborations happen organically because the two companies or two people enjoy what they do. But like, now just putting Basquiat on everything, putting Keith Haring on everything, it's like, it's not every day. And they're probably turning in their graves like thinking this is not, especially Basquiat, because he was so anti what people are doing with this stuff now, like on Caseify, with the Uniqlo. Not gonna lie, I do own a couple of Uniqlo tees at Basquiat because they're nice. But anyway, contradicting myself again. But yeah. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like everything's good, and then a certain kind of people just see it and they absorb it and then they fling it out.
So can you tell me what you're wearing, please, after my 15th millionth time of asking, even though I know?
So, I know I've just spewed a lot of stuff that I'm not really the biggest fan of capitalism, but my bandana is from Amazon. Again, I am a walking contradiction. I can't lie, I do try, but in my defense, it was a multi-pack, so it means I don't have to keep going back to Amazon to buy more because it just came in one go. Do you know what I mean? Okay, this is also quite controversial. Nah, it's Supreme, but it's got Naomi Campbell on it. Then this is loungewear, so I don't really dress like this usually, and it's hot. But yeah, I got these today actually, because I'm a shopaholic. Lovely Helmut Lang. Of course, I've got a designer, yeah, but it's Helmut Lang, but it's from TK Maxx, not Helmut Lang from Flannels. So it was over half price. It was over half price, to be fair.
Does it not say Helmut Lang on it?
Yeah, but it was half price. It was over half. Yeah, but at least I didn't spend. I wasn't dropping Helmut Lang peas on it. I was dropping like not Helmut Lang peas on it. And then I just got some Nike SB socks.
I'm about to say that's not a Nike shoe.
No, Nike SB socks again from TK Maxx. Adidas Slides are green from from Sports Direct. Basically, TK Maxx is the way. Even though don't really rate TK Maxx at the same time because they did fund Trump. But again, that's one of my sins, which is on the list of things I try and weigh out by doing good stuff.
Most of TK Maxx is funded by you indirectly.
I should invest in them and then get them to like vote Democrat. But anyway,
That's not gonna happen.
it's not gonna happen. But I'm gonna try and manifest it.
Thank you so much for telling us to go through your outfit. I think that's the most entertaining part of the video yet. I now want to move on to the quick fire round. So we are heading to the end of the video, guys. No, it's fine. You're not, okay? Favourite song of the year?
No, that's too hard. Favourite song of the year? I need to get my playlist. I've got too many playlists. Favourite song of the year? Favourites? What have I been playing? Oh, you know what I've been recently listening to a lot? This is another thing, because I don't know, since COVID I've been really nostalgic, and a lot of the stuff I do or listen to is to do with my childhood at the moment. So it's probably Singing in the Rain by Mint Royale, which is the song. It's the song, yeah, that George Sampson danced to in the Britain's Got Talent final, and it's one of my favourite dance videos ever. And I love that song and the music video, and I love George Sampson, and I love dance films. And yeah, so it's amazing. So probably that got me through a lot. And basically the whole of Limbo by Amine. Anything Amine, he's the love of my life. And he's probably the only man that I'd ever marry. I'm absolutely obsessed with him. And yeah, so the whole of Limbo, the whole of 1.5, the whole of Good For You, Anything Amine, the whole of my Anything A Tribe Called Quest as well. Been listening to a lot of Amy Winehouse.
It's 10 years since she died.
Yeah. R.I.P. Amy Winehouse, for real. And what else? Yeah, just a lot of... I made a playlist that I called... that I told you I'm indecisive. That it's called My Childhood. And it's actually all the albums that I used to grow up listening to. From like Jay-Z to Corinne Bailey Race. Pretty lit. That's literally my mum and my dad, but yeah.
Love it. That sounds very, very lit, and I know exactly what you mean by that Singing in the Rain. It's a banger. That was in, you know how like when you were younger, you had Spotify, like 15, you had Spotify, but then for me, I had free Spotify, but then I had free Spotify, but then I had my iTunes saved songs that my mum and dad had paid to Forget Me. So there was like 10 of them. Yeah. And what that was stuff like Singing in the Rain. I think there was a bit of Estelle and Kanye. Everybody goes to say UK. No, reluctantly, because most of these feds don't me. Everyone said to me, cool down, ain't on the food now. Ow. Like those kind of tunes, and I think the Black to Black as well, like that was the kind of songs I had on there that I think my parents were like, yeah, these bang, yeah, shared experiences, see. And so I completely know what you mean, and also like films like Step Up, like just that whole kind of vibe. Yeah, like when the water comes down.
You know, Seren said that I remind her of Moose.
Oh really? Yeah. But I thought she was saying like looks wise. I was like, you don't look like that's rude. It's just a go. Yeah. But I was like, that one there's a violation. Yeah, Moose made the film, and I was so glad when every time he had his like a good section, I was like, I think Moose should have been the main character. I don't need like this girl's like sob story. Anyway, quick fire. Next one. So, favorite film of all time.
No, that's actually the hardest question ever. I have a top 50. Okay, some of my favourites, again, About a Boy. This is England. Basic, very basic film person answer, but it changed my life because it's the film that made me realise that film can be educational as well as escapist. Because there was so much that I didn't know about my own heritage, like being half black and British, like with Milky and like Thatcher's Britain, unemployment, racism, that merge between, like, it introduced me to ska music as well, which is like one of my favourite genres. So yeah, that film really means a lot to me. Plus it's weird because when I was younger, when it came out, I was like 5, and I remember the film poster really scared me because I thought these people look really shook. Like they made me shook. They look really scary. Like these bold people with DMs. Like it was scary. Again, semiotics and fashion. You know, it's quite interesting. But yeah, it's funny to think how many like racist skinheads have adopted that when the whole movement of it came from Jamaican people in the first place.
Next question. Are you ready? Best restaurant in London.
Cafe Murano, Bermondsey, of course. I'm not going to plug the restaurant I work at. Okay, some of my favourites. Oh, I think one of our joint favourites in London is Shack Fuyu in Soho. That one that we went.
Yeah, that was nice, but I only went once. I haven't been back.
Oh, I went, but I think I went back twice. And the consistency for me, yeah, Shack Fuyu, probably the whole Bone Daddy's group because their food's good. I must say I do love Slim Chickens, which is right, literally 1 second from it because it's the opposite for fried chicken. BFC, shout out my local fried chicken shop. It's good. What can I say? Prima Sapori, as I said before. Prima Sapori, Yoacha in Soho as well. Basically, Lena stores in the one in Soho. I'm into the one in King's Cross, but also recommend the little deli. It's really lovely. The people are lovely. Where else? It's basically just Italian places. Yeah. And where else? Oh, everywhere fish. I hope so. What's it called? Seafood. I can't remember what it's called. The seafood place in Ting Market. Also, shout out Ting Market. Yeah, also shout out Fish Wings and Tings. They need to improve the coleslaw, but everything else was good. I'm sorry, the coleslaw. Even Liberty said it was a bit dead. I can't lie. But what do you call it? Yeah, and Sea Garden and Grill. That's what it's called. Sea Garden and Grill in Tooting. They have vinegar. Like, this is what I love about food and like things. It's like raw. When you go to a restaurant and it's like, oh, this is mad. So you know how when you have vinegar on chips and it always makes the chips soggy? They have vinegar powder. They have powdered vinegar. It looks like cocaine, and it's like you have to have it. It's a certain technique to eat it, you know. Because I remember I put it on and I choked on it as soon as I ate it because it just went and stuck to like my esophagus, whatever. My esophagus, my throat, and but Seafood Garden and Grill, really good, really well priced as well for what it is. And where else? There's a chain that I really love, Shake Shack, as well. I'm sorry. You hate Shake Shack?
Amazing. No, but we've come to the end of it.
Is it really?
Yeah. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, guys, and I think it's pretty obvious I have too. And I'd like to say a massive thank you to Ella, not only for being a guest on the podcast, but also for creating this incredible experience of food. And I feel like this is your first kind of foray into, you know, the media and the food together. We are silly. So I've had a wonderful time. Thank you to you. I really hope you guys have enjoyed our conversations. We've talked about cooking, film, fashion, and much more. And yeah, the food that Ella's made, I will list in the Instagram as well. I am stuffed. I'm going to go have a little lie down in her conservatory because I genuinely am. So thank you guys, and see you next week for another guest. And they've got a big shoes to fill after Ella. Big clips to fill. But yeah, thank you.